Hi friends, today I came back to show you some of the items that you'll need if you want to work along and do the project that I'm going to be doing for the quilt in my upcoming quilt-along. So some of the items that you'll need, and I'll give you can go back to the video before this one to see the quilts that I made and the one that we're going to make. But we're going to be making blocks like this. So you're going to need some scraps of fabric or a jelly roll or a fat quarter pack or something like that. You'll need some background fabric, and you'll need some more scraps to do this. This we're going to do on the embroidery machine. And some of the things that I use, I'm going to show you those things. This is a jelly roll, so you'll need one of these, and these are to create the little squares like this. Or if you have some 2.5-inch strips, or you have some fabric that you want to cut your own 2.5-inch strips, I'm going to be using this one, and possibly along with this one. And this is I got from Joann's Fabric, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fat quarters in it, and it's going to be used to cut out my bigger pieces like this that's going to go in the embroidery machine. And these are not the same company, but they were kind of complementary. Even though this has some pinks in it, it still has some of these same colors as this pack in it, so I figured I could use them together. Or I probably could just get away with using this one, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to pair it with this one just in case this isn't enough. Also, you're going to need some background fabric, and this is just one of those remnant pieces that I got at Joann's. Let's see. And I'll tell you how much you need of this as we go along. When I cut mine, I'll tell you how much. This is about probably, how much is this? This looks like I've used part of this before. But this is probably about maybe 2 yards, maybe a little bit more. But I'm not exactly sure how much I need yet. But I will let you know that as I go along, as I cut this. I will measure this before I cut it to see if it's going to be enough. So before I start the project, I'll come back with another video and tell you exactly how much background you need. But I'm thinking I'm going to use this background because I'm thinking it's going to go good with this and this one. Or if I don't use this background, I'm going to use this background because I think that would look good as well. But I don't know, because this one seems a little busy to me. So I don't know if I'll use this one. But maybe I'll find another black one. But I'll probably end up using the white. And I'll probably say you probably need about maybe 2 yards. I'm thinking no more than that, but I'll double check once I cut it. So you're going to need some fat quarters, and you're going to need some background fabric. When you get to the sewing part, to sew it together, you're going to need, I use some silk thread for mine. And you're going to need some needles, however you applique. I use this thread haven to condition my thread. And I just run the thread through this little wax stuff right here. You'll need some needles, whatever kind of needles that you like to work with. You'll need some needles for the hand part. And to do the embroidery part, you will need some, let's see what this is called. This is called Quilt-along Value Fuse, and this is a non-woven single-sided fusible interfacing. And it's bumpy on this side and it's smooth on this side. So it's a single-sided. You don't want double-sided. You only want single-sided. And this is what you're going to put in the embroidery machine instead of stabilizer. You're going to put this in the embroidery machine to stitch out your blocks. And I'll show you what that looks like when we get to that part. So this I got from Joann's many years ago, and I've had probably 10-20 bolts of this stuff. I've used it a lot, so I'm not sure what it costs now, but I paid, I think it says it's $9.99 for this, and it was, let's see how much was on it. It's 20 inches long, 100% polyester, and it was 10 yards. But like I said, I've had this for many, many, many years, and I probably paid $5 for it. I probably got it for half off, 50% off, or either 60% off. But I've had it for a long time, and I've had so many of them. All the quilts that you've seen, they were done with this process and with some of this. So I think I still have like 2 or 3 bolts of this, because when it went on sale, maybe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it went on sale like 10 years ago. And I think I got like, I think it was $2 for a bolt. And I think I got like 10-15 bolts because I was using a lot of it back in the day. So I'm going to get back to this, but you'll need some of this value fuse. And like I said, it is single-sided, non-woven, fusible interfacing. So yes, so get you some of this, and that is what we're going to use to get started with this project. This is like a really simple project. You just need a background. You need some big enough pieces to do the circle, and then you need scraps to do this. Like I said, I'm going to use jelly rolls. You can use jelly rolls, or you can use fat quarters. And I'll show you. I found this in my stash because I made a quilt out of this before. And I found a bunch of the pieces that I was using to make the quilt. So here are some of the ones that was sewn before. So here's one that's already kind of like put together that I must have used for my other project. And I made a quilt out of it. And so here's some of what that quilt looked like. I'm done with that quilt, but I must have had like a lot of extra pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lot of these pieces, since it's the same exact thing as this, but I'll show you how to sew them together. I'll show you how to sew some of these strips, I'm sorry. So if you are going to start with fat quarters, I'll show you what that looks like, and how to, or 2.5 inch strips. I'll show you how to sew them together and how to cut them apart and what that's going to look like. Like I said, I'm probably going to take this apart and use a lot of this since I already have it, but I'll show you how to put yours together if you need to start from scratch. So those are pieces of our project that we're going to be making, and I hope you come along and join me on this process, and I would love to see what you're going to make. And like I said, here is the back of the quilt, and this is what you'll need the needle and thread for, to sew it on. Now, if you want to sew yours on with the machine, you can do that. I will not be doing that. Mine will be sewn on by hand. I won't even be demonstrating how to sew it on with the machine, because mine will be done by hand. But if you know how to do it with the machine, then you can go ahead and sew yours on with the machine, with the blanket stitch or whatever other stitch that you sew your applique down with. So thank you for joining me today, and get your supplies together and get ready so that we can make this small little quilt. And like I said, it's probably going to have maybe about 15-20 blocks, and this is considered a whole block right here. So it's probably going to have about 15 or 20 blocks in it, but you can make it as big or as small as you want. So you can do 3 blocks and by maybe 5 blocks, or maybe 2 or 3 blocks. You can do as many as you can do 4, maybe make it into a little doll quilt or something. You can do whatever you like just to get the process down to see if you like it. And but yeah, so come along and join, and we will be making this block, many of them, and we'll put them into a quilt. So I'm going to show you how to put them together into a quilt. I'm going to show you how to sandwich that quilt and how to turn it into a full quilt, how to bind it, how to do the whole process. So join me for the process. Gather along with your supplies, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless. You have an awesome and an amazing day. Be blessed, my friends.